What's up, y'all? It's your boy Devin Hollywood Hunt, episode 3. Um, Hollywood Texas Radio Podcast. Man, I appreciate y'all being here. Putting up some big numbers. Like, was not expecting the outcome. Didn't know really how to measure what I was able to do with the short amount of time I've been able to do it. Um, all I can thank is God and you guys. Y'all tuning in, y'all subscribing, y'all clicking like, sharing this. Man, it's amazing. The amount of people I've been able to reach in just a short time, it's making me want to go even harder, because reach one, teach one, like we talked about the other day. I just can't thank you guys enough for being where you are, tuning in like you are. Like I said, sharing, man, it's crazy. These numbers are awesome. Check the little metrics, check the nerd stats they call them, and it just, man, for me, it's amazing. And I just really can't thank y'all enough. I appreciate the support. I'm doing these in a one take every time. So all my ums and this and that and my squirrels, y'all bear with me. It'll get better as time goes on. But it is what it is. I put it out here for you guys. The end of last episode 2, I got a little heartfelt. Today I'm rocking the Live shirt for my kid Olivia. I got initials on one side, and I got Be Happy because that's her thing. Um, you know, and you guys can get this with this shirt, with the crowns and the AM praying off the ampraying.com. There's some other shirts available, the swag, the thug, the prayers, prosperity. The support goes a long way. I have some people that have been telling me they're gonna invest in buying some blankets. So that's gonna go a long way for the kids if they're in the hospital. I plan on going up there, after the order comes in and just, touching, agreeing, and sharing my story with those kids and really inspiring them to, realize that they can do anything they put their mind to, you know, and for me, it goes a long way because when I was going through that back in the day, somebody came through and they talked to us about, surviving and being in a good mindset, positive mindset. And I've taken that with me for a long way. And it's been a journey. It's been a journey. Life's a journey as it is, as we all know. And man, just once again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Today's episode, I titled it "Loyalty Ain't a Trend." I want to talk about what loyalty looks like. I want to talk about, how betrayal hits different when it's close to you. Make sure you're loyal to yourself. Um, there's tests all the time, in business and the hustle, and then forgiveness is the a huge part of loyalty in life. So I'm gonna jump right in. You know, Staying loyal in a flaky world today, man, there's so much going on in the news. There's so much going on all around us. It's a lot of noise that a lot of people get caught up in, and they wind up freezing, and they get so caught up in that they forget to be appreciative of what is right around them and the people that are around them. You've got people, I'm sure, that text you every day. People that check up on you. A lot of people don't realize how far that goes. And for me, I've got some friends that have been reaching out and touching base with me just to say, "Hey, man, how's it going? How you doing?" I'm like, "Man, that goes a long way. I appreciate it." Um, and a lot of times I don't have, the time for a full-fledged conversation, but I make time for people and, go show up. Showing up is a big part of it. Um, just a 10, 15-minute conversation, just a few texts here and there. It goes a long way for a lot of people. And sometimes we get so caught up in being busy and busy, busy, but we don't get caught up in being appreciative with the people that are spending time with us and giving us their time. I've been through spots where I got to realize the time that people are offering me is valuable, just as valuable as the time that I have. So sometimes I get caught up and I'm like, man, I hadn't heard from this person as much as they used to hit me up and da da da. And I'm like, and actually somebody I care for, I don't know why, I don't understand. And I gotta reel it in and humble myself to realize, like, man, they took the time out to reach out to me. They took the time out to come over. They took the time out to invite me somewhere, and they didn't have to do that. I have to really say thank you for the people that have given me that kind of time. Um, they know who they are, and they know that I appreciate them a lot. And I understand sometimes, confusion happens, and we get to a point where we get busy. Well, we don't have that appreciation as much as we should. Um, so like, I just want to tell y'all, be appreciative of the time that people have for you. Be appreciative of the attention that they give you. As long as it's positive and as long as it's, helping, it's inviting. When it gets to the negative Nancy's and the stuff like that, you got to get them to a point where they stop. That hard stop is crucial. I had a friend of mine in business. He's like, man, you trying to help people until they get sick and tired of being sick and tired and really, really being sick and tired. Shout out to Wahim Woods. Um, he's been a really good mentor and counselor. Helped me with the credit repair situation. He helped me with the tax game. Shout out to Partners Tech. I'm gonna tag him in the video. Um, Shout out to Tony Cross. Man, he put me on some business, and I'm doing some repair work, some roof jobs. I'm about to do a little apartment expansion for him. Um, People like that reach out and put trust in you and faith in you to take care of your business and take care of them. Man, those are business connections that go a long way. Last week I shouted out to some guys that set me on my way early in the game. Um, besides my parents, uh, those people took time and I had to value that. So let me jump into kind of my topics real quick. Uh, you know, what loyalty looks like for real. Okay. So we're gonna talk about loyalty and family, friendships, relationships, business. Like I said, those guys that trusted me with their business, they started out as friends and now they're business partners. They're really, really in tune to what I've got going on. They click like on everything. They share everything I've got. I do the same for them as well. I promote them just as much as I can. Um, Family, family is always going to be family by blood. And you got to make sure that no matter what, family, relationships, friends, business, any of them topics, those people have the best intentions for you. Some people have ulterior motives. You can't measure that. You can't predict it. But at a certain point in time, as things progress with them, you will see where they're coming from, see where their motives are, and be able to tell if they're genuine or not. It's not about being perfect, it's about being present and being consistent, because when you reach out and you text and touch people and y'all agree and on one accord, it goes a long way. Perfection is a chase. We all want to be perfect, you know. Nobody's perfect. Nobody, we're all born, we're all dying. Death and taxes are two things that's guaranteed in life. So, along the way in life, we have to chase our perception of perfect and chase our dreams and really concentrate and focus on what means the most to us going forward. What kind of type of, what type of life do you want to live? Joe Dirt's moment. This where you want to be when Jesus comes back? Do you want to have that argument with somebody and then that be the last thing that you said to them and something happened and man, regret? You don't want to necessarily live with that like that. Like you want to try your best to make peace and not just peace for yourself, but peace for everybody around you. Peace is power. Patience is power, and that goes along with consistency and being present. Uh, Loyalty is very rare, especially nowadays. Being loyal to people is putting yourself in a spot to where you have somebody that trusts in you, and you in turn can trust in them. And when you trust people, you build relationships, whether it's friendship or business, anything, and that trust goes a long way. Because if you don't have your word, your trust is bond. Word is bond, and trust is everything. If you don't have that, it's kind of pointless, and even keeping and trying to keep a relationship with people like that. trying to keep in touch with them. You want to change everybody, you want to help everybody, but you got to also focus on yourself and make sure you don't lose yourself trying to help push other people where they want to be. Um, Betrayal, man, that's everything. Everything's got a positive side and a negative side to it. Of course, we like I said, we want to keep going as positive as possible. Um, it hits different, when it's close to you. When people you love switch up on you, um, it puts you in a weird spot to try to understand where they're coming from. And a lot of times, something that I'm learning is people need their space. They need patience, and they just need you to be there for them when they do come around to you. And my dad was so pressing on me for everything. Like, so when I meet people that tell me, "Oh man, I just need some space," or "No, I just need this and that," it's hard for me to like not just want to keep pressing and trying to figure out like, well, you need space, but is that because I'm my dad, because some way I am, whatever. A lot of people just need that space to clear their thoughts and think and develop what peace is to them. Um, you have to heal from betrayal without being bitter. When people do betray you, you've got to be able to put yourself in the spot to heal that and realize that what everybody's going through is not directly inflicted off of you. It's not always you that affects other people. Sometimes, like I said, it's just them. They just need that space. They just need that time to clear their thoughts and process things. And like I said, on my end, I'm learning patience. I'm a Leo, so that P word is a very strong thing that I've had to really, really work on. And for me, what's helping me with that is prayer, just being able to stop like worrying and panicking and just stop and ask God to lead my mind and lead my body and show me the way and show me what I need to do. And one thing that I'm learning and doing and implementing is using my mouth and saying what I want, saying what things I want from certain things in certain situations, and using my voice to put blessings and on other people and say, hey, Lord, I understand what's going on with certain other people. I hope they understand as well. Um, and I'm praying that I am able to understand truly that it's not a me thing. It's something that they have to go through. And what goes on along with that is setting boundaries. People set boundaries when they are healing and when they are going through certain things, and you have to respect those boundaries. It's tough, like I said, for me, because I always automatically assume that it's a me thing. Like, well, what? But it's not always like that. It could be any number of things that they've got going on in their life. Stress, that's a daily thing that we all deal with. Pressure is a big thing that we all deal with. Had a conversation with my kid the other day about pressure, and it made me realize, like, man, the way I am and the way I was raised is not necessarily the way I have to be all the time. I need to be coordinating and consistent and prayed up, and in turn, my peace that I have, it exonerates my power that I'm able to put out. Uh, I have to be loyal to myself and set goals and really stick to those goals. When I wanted to do this podcast, I had to block a lot of stuff out. A lot of, oh man, I'm gonna just play the next level on whatever video game I got going on. I got close to the day to beating it. I'm gonna just finish that. But then I had to realize, like, I got goals and I got a calling, and I can't deviate from that. I can't, you know, uh, distract myself to do something completely different when I know what I should be doing. You know, this right here has reached so many people more than what I can just posting on Facebook every day or posting on TikTok every day. Um, and it's made me realize that my calling is reach one, teach one, and help other people out through using my voice. And it's helped me reach a numerous amount of people compared to what I could just sending text every day or calling people and they're not answering or texting them, man, what's up, bro? What's happening? How what you don't want to go do this? Why not? Like man. So I had to reel that stuff in. And like I said, it's not always a me thing. It's not always because I am who I am or because I do what I do or anything related to me. It's a lot of times people in their situations. And you have to respect that. And when they set that boundary, you have to respect that. Um, you know, a lot of times we get to the point where we say yes to everything. Oh man, phone rings for this. Boom, what's up, man? Oh yeah. Yeah, I got you, bro. I got you. But we tell everybody around us, yes, 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 yes. But then when it comes to acknowledging what God has done in our lives, we turn around and we say maybe. So I'm bad about that. I would come in, just say my quick prayer and leave it like that. But then, oh well, what about watching church on Sunday? Well, I guess I'll do it. Maybe I might watch it this weekend. I might do this. I don't know. I might, man. Oh, the phone ring. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that, bro. I'm gonna be over there in a minute. Or the phone ring. Oh man, I'm gonna go to the movies instead. Or I'm gonna, like I said, play the video game. But we telling God maybe, but we telling all our friends, yeah, bro, I'm in there. I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna go there. We got to really, really, really focus on that because the more we put in our faith, the more we're able to put out positive things and help other people find their peace as well as within ourselves. Um, Staying disciplined and not just motivated to do things. Like I said, discipline goes right along with the consistency we talked about. When you're disciplined and you focus on your craft, you focus on your calling, you focus on your brand, your internal healing, you're able to help other people a lot easier. Oh, loyalty in business and the hustle goes a long way too, especially if you're self-employed. Um, Even in the job side, staying loyal to your employers and loyal to your people that you're helping in the business that you're in. Like I said a long time ago on the first episode, I wanted to get in a business to help people and make money at the same time to provide for myself and my family. And that's been my focus forever. Just because the money's on the table, you like, man, I can make this quick lick, but I can also backdoor and put in a little bit of work and make money for a long time versus making this quick money. I always tell myself and tell other people in the business, I'd rather make a little bit of money for a long time and keep my bills paid than make a big hit. And man, I won. I just made this, and then not be respectful of it and not be appreciative of it. And next thing you know, I done spent all that big money I made. I don't have no more money coming in because I'm like, oh man. So when you focus on keeping the money rolling or keeping the business rolling and being disciplined to put the work out there, to put the posts out there, to send a text and put that positive message out there for people, that money doesn't even matter. It comes in when it's needed to, when you need it. A lot of people get behind on bills and they focus just on that. But when you turn around and back up a little bit and focus on your business and yourself and your craft and put in the work to get where you need to be, internally, it shines outward. People will see it. They'll understand, like, yo, that dude's been in the gym. That dude's been, in the books. I'm doing continuing education for my real estate license right now. I'm working on getting my brokerage license for real estate. Um, on my contracting end. I'm doing some pretty big projects around town. I put in some big bids. Been doing a lot of roof work, but I've been also working on myself. A lot of people tell me, man, we see you, bro. You slimming down. Like you look like you done lost some weight. And I'm like, yeah, man, I've been focusing on getting where I want to be. Like I'm not there yet, but as long as I'm steady, focusing on putting in the work for myself, I know where my goal is and I know where I want to be. And the more I put in myself, the more people see that and the more, like I said, I shine outwards. Um, you can't switch up when the money's on the table, though. Like I said, you can't just get this quick money because in the long run, it's gonna turn around and bite you. You know, uh, got a lot of friends. A lot of people know me. A lot of people claim to know me. I get it. It's all good. Uh, you got to be really conscious of who you want to bring in to do business with you. You know, certain people have certain tendencies and traits that they're used to, and as a friendship, works out great, works out perfect. But then when you flip up and hit the business side of things, you really got to evaluate who you're doing business with. Um, there's a lot of red flags that pop up in doing business. You know, people that will lie to certain people. If they'll lie to, their mom or lie to anybody, they'll lie to you in business too. You know, if they'll cheat on their wife or cheat on their husband, they'll do the same to you in business. And that's a big red flag, that's a hard stop right there. Like I've been in that situation a few times. People, oh yeah, brother. And then the weekend, oh man, we're going. I'm like, oh man, you got this at home, and that's everybody's different. Everybody's business is their business, but at the same time, when it comes to doing business with that person, you gotta evaluate where you want the business to go and realize that that person, friend or family, whoever, might not be the best fit for the business that you're trying to do, especially if it's a business that helps other people. So if they're not wanting to help themselves, they're probably not going to help you, and they're probably not going to be able to help anybody else. That's cold hard facts. And that's part of building something that's solid and not something that's just shiny and flashy. A lot of these companies got the big, nice trucks with the wraps and this and that, and it's all shiny, and they're getting the phone ringing and people calling, but then they not taking care of business. And then guys like me, the smaller guys or people that actually care, are coming in and sweeping up the pieces and actually taking care of business. And I've had jobs where I've had to come back and come back and come back. But at the end of the day, I want to take care of people. I want to treat people the same way I want to be treated. So if I got to come back and finish something because somebody I brought on wasn't a good fit for the business and it didn't work out, my name is on the company. My name is on the building. My name is on the truck. My name is on the cards. My name is on the phone when I call. When you call me or I call y'all. Uh, so I got to run it back and be like, look, that's probably not the best fit. And I got to hire quality people and I bring on quality people. And fortunately, God showed me both sides of it, and it's made me a better business person like I am today. It just part of it's a learning lesson. When I was in the motorcycle club, I would tell my guys all the time, I'd rather have 4 quarters following me than 100 pennies chasing me. You know, 4 quarters, when you got solid people around you versus them shiny pennies, the people that just go, oh yeah, yeah, I know D Hunt, I know whatever, whatever. That's not the best for you. When you build quality with the people around you, it lifts everybody up together. And it's not just, like I said, a stack. If you stack 100 pennies versus stacking 4 quarters, they still worth $1. But them 100 pennies stacked up, they're gonna fall faster than them 4 quarters will in a heartbeat. Uh, And along with that is forgiveness though. So we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Like I said earlier, nobody's perfect. I made plenty of mistakes. I've tried my best to make up for the mistakes. I've tried my best to treat people the way I want to be treated. I tried my best to understand where people are coming from and really relate to them. And at the end of the day, no matter what has happened or does happen or whatever, I genuinely forgive people because everybody goes through different seasons. Everybody goes through different phases in life. You never know what's going on in somebody else's life. So you as a person have to be able to humble yourself and forgive that person for whatever the situation was or wasn't. Communication is a big part of that. Not only communication, but comprehension. You can talk to the wall all day long. If the wall not going to understand what you're saying, I mean, you're wasting time, you're wasting breath. But if you talk to the door and it's going to open for you, that's a whole nother story because then you're able to step through the door and get somewhere and level up in life like we want to do. Um, I don't want anybody to turn around and think that they're any less or whatever because of the situations they've been through. Like I said, I've failed plenty of times. I've started a business and then got no customers, no nothing. But then I started another one and I blowed up and, made a good bunch of good money and took care of a bunch of people. And I'm still rocking with that today. And I learned lessons along the way. And people have forgiven me as well, from mistakes I've made, people that I've hired that didn't do a good job. I mean, I can't control everybody. I can't control other grown folks, but I can control me and as my name on the business and the bank account and the license and everything. I have to be conscious of who's around me and what they're doing around me and my business and the people that I'm bringing them around. So I appreciate everybody that has forgiven me. You know, I wouldn't be where I am today without forgiveness. I wouldn't have the crew and the following and the people around me if people didn't forgive me either. Um, Relationship wise too, same thing. I've been through a bunch of stuff in my life and I'm able to turn around and let people know, hey, look, I don't know what your intentions were or weren't, but I forgive you. You may have been going through some things at the time and I'm here to forgive you, it's warranted. I don't know what what was on your mind at the time or what the deal was, but at some point in time, our communication lacked and the comprehension lacked and we had a misunderstanding, but I'm staying disciplined and I'm staying consistent and I'm trying my best to add to your piece and my piece as well. And if I can forgive you and you can accept it, or I mean, if you can forgive me and you accept my forgiveness and we are on the same page, we're meeting in one accord, we can get somewhere. Um, and just because you give people grace and don't mean you got to give them access either. Uh, like we saw about boundaries, I give people grace because people mess up all the time. I messed up, like I said, but that don't necessarily mean I got to give them full access. I don't have to open up the door and let them come in to anything that I've got going on because my boundaries are my boundaries. Theirs are theirs as well. Uh, and, you know, I want to kind of touch on this a little bit, but, and, um, you can let go of things. Okay. You can let go, let God handle it. I know we see a lot of stuff about let them and, let them do what they do. Let them, oh, it's fine when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. We all know that song. But that don't mean you got to lose faith in that person. People change. We always want to pray and, understand that we want them to change for the better. I never wish bad on nobody. You know, People go through bad situations that don't necessarily make them a bad person. I've been through bad situations that don't necessarily make me a bad person. Now, me doing what I do every day to try my best to mend relationships and uh, go forward with as much positivity and understanding as I can is a big thing. But along with that, for me, is having faith in people, having faith in God to put the right people in my place and right people in my space as well. So, like, if I open up the door to somebody and turn around and say, okay, I'm gonna give this person a chance and see what they got going on. And I turn around before I even do that, I put faith in myself to know that I'm making the right decision and faith in God that He's guiding me to make the right decisions. No matter what happens, gonna be it's gonna be exactly what it's meant to be. Um, some of the things I want y'all to go forward to think about for the next week. What does loyalty mean to you? I told you what it meant to me. You know, I, it's a lot for me. Um, and a lot of times, we gotta cut people off that really do mean a lot to us. And when they come back around, we gotta make sure that we pray about opening the door to them, and not just us opening the door to them, but them being comfortable and prayed up and have faith that we also made changes for the better. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Uh, I just want y'all to be conscious of that. Opening that door to people takes a lot, you know. Uh, and like I said, being appreciative of the time that they give you, even to open up the door back to you. Loyalty is earned. Um, it's not just, oh man, I got this loyalty tattoo that means everything to me. the loudest person in the room usually has the least stuff to say. But when you show up and consistently prayed up and faithful and trustworthy, it goes a long way, and you don't have to second guess anything. God's got you. I got you. Y'all reach out. My DM's always open. Thank y'all for the support. Thank y'all for clicking like on everything. Thank y'all for subscribing. Share this message if you feel led to it. Keep tuning in. I'll be here every Wednesday. For now, 3 o'clock. That's when it's popping. And I'm gonna try my best to stay prayed up before I come through. Stay faithful with what I bring. Um, Stay consistent and disciplined. My peace at the end of the day is my power. And sometimes I get too peaceful and I don't really want to do this or really want to do that. But hey, I send everything to y'all live in person. And I'm just telling y'all to stay prayed up, stay encouraged. We'll see y'all next week. Like I said, loyalty is earned, and when it's out there, when it comes through right, like it's supposed to be, it'll flow. It won't be forced, and you won't have to second guess it at all. I'll see y'all next week. Much love.